Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm Michael. Hold it, orchestra. Or as the grandkids call me, Ruth. Thanks for being on the show today. Am I running just a little bit late? Yeah, mentally, physically, all the above. Just got back in town late last night from the mountains, which was absolutely marvelous. But I might add, I was disappointed in the internet. Because I started to do these good things. I thought I was going to do good things from Cheap Joe's art store and art stuff. And I got there, did the intro, and then that stopped. And they said, oh, here, get on our Wi-Fi. I went with that, and my phone wouldn't match. And anyway, and so I did a little short piece. Some of you saw that. You saw my short time with Joe Miller. Actually, it was a little longer time. I just couldn't put a whole lot of it on Facebook. And then I found a place later the next day when I was in the vineyard at Grandfather Mountain. And so I put a little video together, just a field trip I want to show you after we got in late last night. And we hustled back from the mountains late in the afternoon and then straight to the grocery store and then straight to my son's house to celebrate his birthday. And he cooked on his birthday for us just outrageous burgers and then fries and just Carol this marvelous salad, and then she made this big giant family chocolate chip cookie, and we drove off and left it with them and said, eat up, we don't need any sugar this late. And so we're back and about, and so thank you for being here. Got an exciting show today. I'm going to give away two things. One thing I was going to give away at Cheap Joe's while I was there in the art store, and then I just kept losing you, and then I literally am just catching up with email early this morning that I haven't seen in a weekend. So I've got some business calls later today and projects I'm working on. But I pray you're well. So let's jump in and do a little painting. Let me say hello to some of you here. But first, let me clean my glasses because it looks like I must have been sipping something on the road and dripped it all over my glasses last night. Anyway, so you're not supposed to drink and drive, but it's okay if it's coffee, I think. Or I have my thermos with me too, a little tea. Let me clean up my desktop here, and let me just roll a little music here. Andy, could you play a little something for us? There we go. Yeah, that's nice. Let me say hello to some of you here. So here we go. Michelle, thanks for being on the show, Michelle. So one of your paintings yesterday, and we were talking about you driving down the road. That was when we got back in close to Charlotte, and my phone says, hey, here we are. I see all these emails. Karen Binder, thanks for being on the show. Bob Hendrick. There's so many E's in your name, it's not even funny. Morning from the proud as a peacock cornfields of Iowa. I love the fact that you are still using adjectives to modify and enhance other adjectives. As simple as cornfields. Beverly Schmidt, thanks for being on the show. Linda Lawless, thank you for being here. Jason Nichols, good Monday morning to everybody. Jason, I see your work pop up. And one of these days, I promise I'm going to land where I can actually sit and watch an entire episode of you sketch your inspiration stuff. So keep going, my friend. Annette Wall, Deborah Spangler, thanks for being on the show. Holy schmoly. Randall Taylor Craven, Fern Skelly. Fern, thank you. There was a nice note in my mailbox when I got back late last night. Denise Albright, thanks for jumping in. Laura Abbott, Kathy Morrill, Pat Lightbody, Deborah Trauber, Susie DeLay, Shanoa, thanks for being on the show. Tamberly Marie, thank you for being here. Landa Dunaway, Mickey DeYoung, Pat Evans. I thought of you a couple times because I did paint a fishing fly. While, and I got to tell you, I'm just a tad bit put out. There's the fishing fly. It's a big old rascal. Look at that thing. This is on 6x6 paper, so he's real big. I was just actually demoing him for someone on maybe how to paint a fishing fly. And I drove by one of my favorite trout fishing places in western North Carolina, up in around Boone area and Blowing Rock. And there used to be there's this old church there, and you could drive in by the old church and park behind it. And if there was anybody there, they would wave at you. Not on Sunday mornings, they wouldn't be waving. Well, they might be waving, but you know, it was a nice place to park during the week, and you could go wet a hook and wade down this little stream that was a nice place. In North Carolina, you really can't cast flies like you do out west, you know, or in those big ponds or big open spaces where you get to really whip that line. This is not river runs through it. This is creek dribbles by it, and you sort of have to flip the fly out there. So you have to do a lot of overhand roll casting and flip casting and twing, slingshotting it, I call it. Because if you go whipping back like this, you're going to lose all your leader and your fly and all that in the woods. But there's this one little place where you can really get in some good cast upstream among the rocks. Small little trout, but fun to catch. And they have blocked it all off with the fence from the golf course people said, that's our stream. And you go, no, it's not. And the church people said, well, it may be, but we can't let people fish here. And I'm going like, wait, if churches are out of the fishing business, that's going to make the disciples look pretty poor. And so I'm a storyteller, so I embellish everything. And I'm the guy who stands on the soapbox. And anyway, so now I got to find another place to fish. And I didn't even take my fly rod with me because we were helping some friends. We were visiting with some friends who invited us up, but at the same time, we kind of got to go and help pick out a couple pieces of new mountain furniture for their house here and there, their condo they're in, and so it was fun. I must admit, it was a blast being there. Loved it, and so I don't know how I got on that. Patricia Evans, I thought of you. See there? So there's a fishing fly, so I did, but I left it here. Amy Roche, thanks for being on the show. Storyteller Sharon Kirk Clifton, thank you for being on here. Happy Monday, she says. Burt Crone from Greenville, South Carolina. Skeeter Pal, I will announce again, we're going to be doing an auction for Skeeter Pal's mission, ministry, method of madness, and what he does and has embraced many years in his life. He works with some special folks and he's taking them on a camp. And it's going to be, I'm just going to tell you now, then I'll tell you later, August 27th, we're going to do a Roodoodles auction here. We've got one coming before then. That's for Roodoodles. This one is all going to be for David's Table on August 27th. So if you've got a pencil, sharpen it sharpen your pencil and write this down, August 27th. And you know you don't sharpen, I'm going to tell you this every time, you don't sharpen pencils like this. You don't do it. You sharpen pencils like this, like you're whittling a fine work of art. You just little scrape it across there. By the way, I've got my, the knife I'm sharpening with this morning is, oh my gosh, look at this thing. It is just a very inexpensive Swiss Army knife. Swiss Army is not a sponsor yet. It's a Swiss Army knife. It's the Recruit, and the Recruit usually has a key ring hook right here on the back. Well, you know what? I got to tell you something about the key ring hook. It bothers my finger, so I just ground it off. Because if I'm carving like this, that thing's sticking in me right there. I'm going like, that doesn't feel too good. This is the regular blade, but very, very sharp for a Swiss Army knife. I use this to rough it out, and then I close that blade. This knife, the Recruit, has a couple screwdrivers and two blades, and of course they're regular little tweezers and toothpick. And I like it because the handle's thick and it's smooth, sits in my hand nicely. How did I get into whittling this morning? But there is a real round, look at the shape of this blade right here. See the shape of this blade right there? Okay, the small blade has the same shape, but I didn't want that shape. So what I did was I took the small blade and I ground it down to a whittling blade and then resharpened it. So there it is right there, if you can see that. I just ground it down to a whittling blade. And so while I was hiking in the mountains with some friends, I reached up. I didn't find any river birch because we were well high above the river, but I found a piece of soft poplar. And I told Annette up in Bird Island that I would probably she said, please put a little whittle rue in the auction that I'm doing on the 13th. And so I started whittling this little thing while I'm walking. And I passed a guy on the trail and he said, are you whittling? And I go, yes, sir. I can whittle while I walk. I just can't text while I drive. And he goes, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I said, well, I hadn't hit anything yet. Had stepped off the mountain. But this little blade lets me get down in here and do these little curly cues like that. You can see it coming together. There's a little cleanup on aisle 3, clean up on this. I'm doing there's his beak and his wattle. There's his comb. Back of his head's going to have to be smoothed out just a little bit like that. That's what this little blade that I curved down was. So there you can see the rooster coming together. Can you see him right there? Now, once this dries another day or so, then I'll take it and I'll start putting curly cues in the tail. And I do that with a bigger blade and some saw motion coming down and get them to curl up. And so I did the split in here, not like Yaya splits, but anyway, this is the wattle, and I'll undercut the wattle just a little more. And I don't really paint these, but I put a touch of paint on them, just a little yellow, red, and just a little bit of that gamboge on his legs. And then I stick them in a wine cork and sell them. There it is right there. That's a little whittle roo. So I'm working on one. And so, the old rule of not whittling towards yourself is not true. You got to whittle toward yourself, but you just got to make sure all the digits are out of the way. So see this when I'm whittling like this, even over my thumb right there. See that's going over my thumb. And this baby, woohoo, I keep it sharp. Do I sharpen it on a stone? No, that's too complicated and too many angles. Is it 30 degrees or 15 or 25 like the Europeans? Nope, I just use 1,000 grit to 1,500 to 2,000 grit sandpaper, and I just do a nice little, raise it only about the thickness. My friend told me yesterday, only about the thickness of a matchbook cover. And I just circle it in like this and circle it back like this. And then I have a little piece of leather that I strop it. So there's a lesson on pocket knives. You didn't know you were going to get that. Hey, art is art. You make things because you were made. Okay. All right. There's a scale so you can see the size of that little roo. Here, this is a piece of poplar cut off of the back of the mountain in Blowing Rock, 5 inches tall. He's going to stand in a cork, so he's going to be pretty tall. I left him kind of a long, lanky rooster. And this tail, if it works right, will curl about 3 or 4 curlings in here, and the knees will come out and branch around this way. So he ought to be pretty cool when he's all done. I'm hoping he's going to look something like this right here, all these little curly cues. And then maybe have a couple more, something like that right there. Okay, we shall see. Jury is still out. All right. Pat Brooks, thanks for being on the show today. Laura Abbott, Leah Schwinn, Patricia Deaton. I've been on a mission to bring creative fun into everything I do. Good job, Jason Nichols and Deborah Rideout. Thanks for being on the show. J.A. Berg, Jack Wolfenbarger. Blessings, buddy, from the Sunshine State. My dear friend Jack, Carol Todd Mundy, Andy Faglioli from Potomac. Is it the Potomac Highlands of West Virginia? I'll tell you about West Virginia country. Gorgeous. Woo. And it was so fun to drive into the mountains. Countdown to auction. Annette says, Annette, write it down. It's August 13th. It's a Friday night. Get your popcorn laid out. Your seasoning, salt, your oil, your butter, bring me your tired, your butter, your huddled masses of lump butter and put it on the popcorn. We're going to have an auction. I've got a stack of just small Roodoodle things. They're going to go fast. They're going to go inexpensive. And I'm going to clear this box out. I've cleaned my office up. I got a box that's got to go. This fly will be in the auction. Boom. And he's big, 6x6. I'm dropping him in the box. There's a box right down there. And then on August 27th, I got a surprise for you. And I'll tell you more about that tomorrow's show. And even on Saturday, I'm in town this Saturday. But because I missed so many of you this past Saturday and my email went kaput, I want to give away a couple of my favorite brushes from Yasutoma. And here they are right here. There's a 1 and a 3 Yasutoma brushes. Yasutoma, great name, in a watercolor brush. I use American Journey brushes in my watercolor painting most of the time. They look like these new ones and a couple of used ones. There they are right there. Then I use these these Yasutomas to really splatter and be loose. So this is the only brushes that I've used for the last 10 years. And honestly, the first one of these I started with, I didn't even know it was a Yasutoma. It had the logo had already been wiped out, and so I found it in some old brush supplies. And I started using it, and I knew it was an Asian brush, and I knew it was a calligraphy brush, but I didn't know the company name. And then I got this letter from Yasutoma. I got a phone call, actually, from Yasutoma that said, one of our marketing people saw one of your brushes lying on one of your paintings. I went, yeah, because I paint with that and have been. They said, well, We love that. Can we get in touch with you? So they did call back after that, and we talked. So it was really fun. But a 1 and a 3 is going to come to somebody right now. So let me say hello to a few more people. Hi, Sue Kane. Hi, June Jones. Thanks for being on the show. Sharon Clark, Irma Burton, Marion, is it Awad? Getting ready for a possible hurricane. Well, good night. Batten down the hatches, as they say. Nancy Manners, thanks for being on the show. And Susan Crittenden, thank you for being here. Catherine Brousseau, Barbara Mayer, Ann Westra, Jean Anthalzer, it's Dolores Boland. Golly, some days you can tell I need more sleep, huh? Ricky Govers, thanks for being on the show. And D. Ray Restoff, thank you for being here. Mary Lou Mahaffey, Becky Bailey, Jennifer Yentz, Dancing in the Rain in Indiana. That sounds like a song to me. And I was dancing in the rain in Indiana. Oh, I knew that I had my best dress on. I could just go on. That's the thing I little wrote about the song. From rainy Long Island. It's raining where you guys are. Golly. It is sunny and going to be hot today in Charlotte. And Dan's got the doors pulled down. He's not going anywhere today. Elaine Barnett, thank you for being on the show. Elaine Walker. Phil Wilbarger, thanks for being on the show, my friend. Sue Pizzello. Jane Gillette. Jane Gillette's a good artist. To see some Margie Quayle. All right, here we go. Let me just do this. I see Jacqueline Browse down there, probably getting ready for school. Kim Sheets is on the show this morning. Laura Abbott. She needs to head downstairs. We'll just wait. Laura, you go check on your teapot. Here we go. I was waiting for Laura Abbott to get downstairs, check her teapot, and get back up with... I'm just giving you a hard time here, folks. Okay. I love my Swiss Army knife. Me too. You know, I was not a fan for many, many years. I thought they were just they were hard to sharpen, but once I learned to sharpen them and I like the feel of them, I've become a fan of Swiss Army. Like I said, they're not a sponsor yet, but they have put me on their Facebook a couple times just for some fun whittling things that I've done. All right. Customized. Yes, I have a customized Swiss Army knife, and don't buy them in Switzerland. They cost you more. I have a Leatherman too. In fact, I'm gonna just go to. Sorry. Did I just kick my? Yeah. All right. Hold on. I gotta show you something here. Look at this. All right. Let me get my bag here. This is my carry bag. This is the bag that I put my bug out bag into. So I have to have other things on the trail with me when I'm doing a hike. But take a look at this. Here's my Leatherman. Let me turn this down just a little bit. Sounds like some epic movie music. Here we go. Look at this. All right, it's a black Leatherman Wave, and look what it says on the side of it. Can you see it right there? Oh, it's been lasered on there. That says Roo. But wait, turn it over. Look at that right there. Can you see that? That's the Roo head. There he is right there. It's this. My son, for a Christmas gift, sent them this piece of artwork, and they engraved it right there on my Leatherman. So there's my Leatherman multi-tool that stays in my bag. And man, it's fantastic. So if I'm out and about and I don't have my cutters with me and I need to chop off a piece of limb off a tree, there's a file. Here is a saw that'll flat out take it off. Unbelievable little tool. I've carried a Leatherman since the early 80s when Carol and I were in the film business and I was working on a movie set at the time. And I'm going like, I'm not walking back to the truck. So I ran down to the store and bought one and kept it for many, many years until when the Museum of the Bible opened, I left it. It fell out of my bag under this table. Someone found it and called me, but they never mailed it to me. I was up there working on an art project for them. If you haven't seen the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C., you probably need to go there. All right, so let me paint something. I was going to give away something. Here it is right here. Let me just do this. I'm scrolling up and down through all the posts that are on the show so far. Thanks for liking my show. Thanks for posting on here. So here's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of rolling in right now. I'm going to turn right around in 1 second, all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. I'm not looking, and boom. Kim Sheets? Really? So many names are becoming familiar. When are you going to do a Roo retreat? Boy, I would love doing that. And there's talk. I don't know where we can do it yet, but we're going to have to do probably 3 in maybe general areas of the country, so it's not too far for people to come and do a part of that. But we've got to do one in sort of a western North Carolina area. Hendersonville has a spot possibly. And so I want to do a Roo retreat somewhere where people can show up for a couple of days, but I want it to be reasonable. I don't want it to be outrageous. I'm not doing it at Blackberry Farms, which, cost a fortune and too much for me to stay there. So Kim Sheets, I've got to find my list. Hold on 1 second here. Where? Oh, here it is, right here. Okay. Kim Sheets, I'm writing your name on here right now. Kim Sheets. All right, Kim, if you'll send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com, Cheap Joe's Art Stuff and the folks at Yasutoma will send you a 1 and a 3 Yasutoma brush, whether you like them or not. If not, give them to somebody you love. I think you're going to love them. You have to work with them. It's not out of the box. It's going to feel a little squirrely. Learn to hold it back here and get fancy with it. I'm going to paint something with one right now. All right, Linda Lawless, thanks for being on the show. Patricia, B. Areola. All right. Kathy McCreary. There's Linda Schleichning. Thank you for being on the show. Amy Van Diver Scrow. Chris Young. Wow, I love how you guys just pile on and get busy about the life of art. So thank you very much. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Let me get rid of my big old head here just a little bit. Scale that down so you can still see me. And let me drag out some paper here. And I want to show you a painting with a couple two new colors. So I'm in Cheap Joe's. I'm talking to him about journaling. And I was just going to say hello. And Megan, who is my contact there and has just done a marvelous job of making me feel special, and Brian, who sends out a lot of the brushes to you people. And I always say, please send them some swag from Cheap Joe. Send them something fun, little cards or stickers but it's really fun. And she said, do you need any more colors while you're here? Pick something up. And she said, can I share with you 2 of my favorite colors? I'm going like, rock on. This would be great. And so she sends me a couple of her colors. And so I just want to share with you what those are right here this morning. So I'm going to do that with just a very interesting deal. And I saw an original painting while I was there of Bob Burgess in the studio. It was a cup that he had done. Just fabulous. That guy they talked about him being there sometimes in the store and just how crazy he is. And he just loves to paint and create and just do goofy stuff and with paint. But he's also so good. So Kim Sheets, if you heard me, send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com, and I will gladly see that the name gets forwarded off to Cheap Joe's. And if you haven't received a brush yet, I skipped an order, it looked like, and I'm sending that out. It went out last week. And so we'll go from there. But take a look at this. This is, I'm going to show you 2 new colors just for fun. Last week was all about limited palette, and I love that. I still think you should go out with the small box, which I do every time. It looks like I just lost my, it's all over the place. I'm not sure why. So we'll see if it comes back. There it is. Weird. This is still what I traveled with it all, painted everything I painted this weekend. The little vineyard scene, the fishing fly, a rooster. I did a business card for a friend who said, hey, can I keep up with you online? He said, you have a card? And I go, well, I'll make you one. In fact, I'm going to take you on a little journey here in a second. I'll tell you about some of those people. So this is still what I carry. It's my little Altoid box with my 6 favorite colors right here. And then I've got just a little daub of I did talk to Joe about Terry Tardy turquoise. And I said, Andrew's turquoise? He goes, oh gosh, it's one of my favorite turquoises. And I said, yeah, we love Andrew's turquoise, but in Roodoodles, we all call that TTT. And he goes, what? And I said, that's Terry Tardy turquoise from Coos Bay, Oregon. And he goes, oh my gosh, Coos Bay is brilliant. I love it. It's a beautiful place. And I said, well, someday I want to have TTT, Terry Tardy Turquoise. So he just laughs, and he loves the fact that you guys are supporting a family business, but also making art, and that's what that man does. He showed me his journals from up in Michigan when he was walking around in the harbors, and he stayed up there for several months just sketching. And he asked me what kind of sketchbook I was using. We talked about sketching, sketch, people, and we share a similar interest in this. If you go somewhere and you snap a picture, you remember it. Sure, you see it, but if you go somewhere and you sketch it, you remember the weather, you remember the wind, you remember was it cloudy or rainy, you remember what you ate that morning, you remember if you had tea or coffee while you're out there sketching, you remember where you stood, you remember the sounds of the bells, and if you're painting in the harbor, you remember, or the wind through the trees yesterday, or these snags of old hemlocks that we walked around on Bass Lake, Trout Lake, both lakes. My point is, when you sketch out there, you remember it all. And so he said, I want you to have one of my sketchbooks. And so he gave me a sketchbook, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. He said, hey, take this with you to Maine and see what you think. This is what I painted with in Maine. And well, similar to this, they don't make the one he originally started with. And he makes his own sketchbooks, but he gave me one that our friend Tom up in Maine in lobster art will appreciate, because he's always painting on bee paper. So here we go. So this is two of the colors that she left me with. I want to show you. I'm going to do a little piece here. Just do a little. Let's just do a little person here. Here's my little person. And let's put a fishing rod in his hand. There it is, right there. He's got. He's out here, and maybe some waders, and then some. I think he's got to have a hat on. He's got to have a hat. He's got to have a little fishing creel. Maybe, all right, so you see what I'm doing anyway. I'm just painting a little fisherman there. And it's crude, it's bad. It's the whole point. And it's a good waste of paper. But I think you'll get an idea of where I'm headed with this in just a second. There's the reel. There's the man out there. Here's a little water. All right, so this color she gave me just to try. I don't even know if it'll work on this, but here it is. One of them is called Raw Umber Violet. There it is right there. And I'm just going to touch a little bit of it right here just for fun. Whoa, that's way too much. That's enough to do this whole piece of paper. And this one, so it's Raw Umber Violet. It's just, and I'm experimenting with them right now. And this one's called, I don't know what it's going to look like, June Bug. Just a touch of June Bug. Let's see what that looks like. They both look really, really dark, don't they? Let's see what happens when I just throw some water in there and pick it up here. Oh, my heavens. Look at that. That's the Raw Umber Violet. That's kind of cool. All right, so let me rinse my brush out. And so this is how you experiment with colors. And this one is, oh, look at that. This is like Terry Tardy Turquoise on tequila. It's that's 4 T's. It's got some beautiful blues in it. We'll put that in there and just let that be the water. Look at that. I was hoping it was close to its container, so that's why I put it down here thinking this might work. So, and maybe this is just a skyline mountain up here with some of that blue and this mix. Let's see if I can get in some skyline. You know, this painting doesn't have to go anywhere. This is going to be going right in the trash in a minute, but I just want you to see the colors. This is Raw Amber Violet right there. You see that little bit of that raw umber. Did I say amber? I meant umber. Raw Umber Violet. And this is called June Bug. Whoa, look at that. That's pretty cool. Now, I see it as more landscape harbor colors that I'll take to Maine. Not necessarily colors that I'd paint a roo with, but I can see some roof feathers coming in there like that. And that could be kind of cool, okay? So as I see that thing come together, mix them together, what do I get? I get this cool little look. So anyway, that's what I do. I'll just take a piece of paper and just roll it around and practice with it a little bit. So cool. I'm going to name them one more time for you. Here it goes. The name is Raw Umber Violet and June Bug. That's a great color right there, June Bug. That's just a great name, really, what I should have said. That's a cool name. I can see a little June bug down in here, some umber, that violet right in here a little bit, just taking over. That'd be kind of cool. All right. So there's a couple new colors that I got from that Megan gave me while we were wandering through Cheap Joe. She gave Carol and I the grand tour. It was pretty awesome. All right, I'm going to get set up to paint something for you here this morning, but I want to show you a little field trip video, which is always fun to do. So if you're ready, here it is. This is the farmer's market in Watauga County. It's Grandfather Mountain Winery, and it's always Carol doing something at a little local band that played. Welcome to my field trip, because my phone wasn't working and I couldn't post much from there. Boom. At the top of the stairs. Folks, so it gives you a little idea. By the way, let me just back up a little bit. My camera's in the way this morning. Let me pull that up just for a second here and see if it's going to refocus. Let me tell you a couple things there. One, at the end, you saw some honey. I was on a search for some sourwood honey, and this has been a bad year. And I was hearing that here in Charlotte at the farmers markets. Bad year for sourwood. And I said, is there any sourwood trees around here? And the beekeeper goes, yeah. And I said, except for the one that I parked next to at the end of the parking lot. It wasn't completely in bloom yet. And he said, sourwood's had a hard time. It's my favorite honey. It's light, it's clear, it's beautiful. It's got a little twist to the, I had some this morning on toast. But James was a pleasant man to speak with, and he runs a farm called Faith Mountain Farms. And his son, they move their bees around from Statesville to Boone to Blowing Rock, all the way into Cumberland to get some sourwood. And so it's kind of fun. They move groups of bees around, which is what my dad started doing about the time I was ready to leave town. And so there's a reason for that. But anyway, his son runs the business now. So his daughter is an artist. So I gave him a little painted card of mine. He wanted one of my cards. And I said, well, I don't have a business card except for this one here. And so I held this up, and he said, well, there's nothing on it. I said, well, there will be in a second, James. Just be patient. And so I painted a little rooster and gave it to him. And he said, oh, my gosh, I wish my daughter were here to see your palette, because she comes here and paints little cards and sells them at the market. And, you know, you got to hand it to her. She's 15, 16 years old, and she's knocking out some fun little folk animals. And she showed me pictures. Are fabulous. Pleasant people, pleasant time. These guys at the band were okay. There are 3 violins at a band is like a plane crash, no matter how you sell it, because can you get 3 mountain violins to tune the same? No. But it was just a fun time, and I missed my mountain roots, realizing that I lived in Asheville for 16 years, 17 years, and now to get back up to Boone and Blowing Rock area is just fabulous. Carol is out dancing and clogging and doing the splits in the I splits the globe always, and wherever she goes, and so that's always fun. But let me jump on this picture here and see if I can get back to this painting. And I want to make sure this is focused, so hold on one second. Boop. All right, yeah, so that's a little focus. So I want to show you this. This is one of the journals that Megan had Joe hand me, and it's made by, and Tom, you'll appreciate this, the B Paper Company, and I've painted on B paper quite often, and it's hard to buy it locally. It's good paper. It's not 140 pound. It's only 93, right at 100, a little over, less than 100 pounds. But it's great journal paper, and it'll handle mixed media paper. It'll handle water. It's great for dry media also if you're a pen, but it'll handle wet pretty well. And so this is it. This one's 9x9, and this one is 6x9, which is really my style that I love to take and just hold. It slides down in my bag, and I turn it this way if I want to do a landscape on it. And it's got the really spiral bound with these thick rings. They won't bend as much as the stuff you buy locally. Anyway, B paper is good. Joe had taped a lot of things off, and I got some photographs of just where he would stand and do that. And you know, remember, if you're going to tape artwork off in your journal, you can do one or two things. Use art tape. If you use masking tape, that's fine. If you use frog tape or blue tape, I use white tape. I just learned that way because it doesn't affect my eye. If this is blue, then my blue on the painting is going to look different than my tape. It's going to affect my eye, blue against blue. But if it's blue against white, I'm going to know the true color of my color. So that's why I use white tape. Does that make sense? If I do this in masking tape, that's okay. It's kind of yellowy gray. But sometimes masking tape, if you leave it on too long and it gets sealed, it'll rip up the paper. So what I do there is I just stick the tape on my cuff a couple times like this, or on my pants leg, and boom. And so it gets a little lint on there. And then when I put this down here and rub it and leave it for a while, when I pull it up, it doesn't rip the paper. And so that's kind of what I've done this morning with this painting here. I just put a little in there, and so I didn't even erase the pencil. I just jotted down on here, and I'm going to paint this little rooster here with this bamboo brush. There it is, right there. Just drop some of this in there really rapidly and fast, and then I'm just going to pull some water in right here, like so. Just a little bit of water coming down. You can't see it where you are. And I'm going to go down in here in these corners and drop a little water in there too. Come in with a little bit of blue and just let it sort of follow the water wherever the water went. And a little lamp black, one of my favorite colors. Lots of people don't carry black in their palette because you can mix some dark purple and red, and you can get dark enough to show the shadows and all. It's just easy for me to grab a little lamp black and just run with it. I love this terry-tardy turquoise. And then I'm going to get a little of my gamboge, which is always my favorite yellow. It's people call it 100 different things. I almost bought an Indian yellow the other day, and I thought, nah, I'm just going to stick with this. If I want a little more orange in there, I'll just reach over and grab some of this red and touch it in there like that. And then I have Indian yellow. See it coming down right there? Okay, so that's it. So because this paper is 93 pound and because I'm using a bamboo brush, I'm bringing a lot more water to it. So it's going to have the tendency to warp and curve a little bit. So what? It's going to dry out flat and it's going to frame flat. That's the whole point here. Might just get a little bit of that. What color was I painting with a minute ago that I said Oh, here it is. And yes, these are American Journey colors. Raw Umber Violet and June Bug are both American Journey colors. There they are right there. See the little logo? It's a man standing on a mountaintop with his easel. Well, of course, that's Joe Miller. And anyway, I talk about them a lot because I love their hospitality. And look, will you get the stuff as fast as you get it from Dick Blick or from Jerry's Artorama or no? Okay? They're not an art house that sells everything in the whole wide world, but they're a family operated group up in Boone who love art, love people. I mean, when they do a tour, you get to tour into Joe's office and you get to talk about how he started. Why do they call him Cheap Joe? He wanted to be an artist, and his father was a pharmacist, and he got into that. He was running an art store in the back of the pharmacy. Why? Because he could order the art supplies wholesale. The dude is brilliant. He's going like, I want to paint, and I don't want to pay. So there's always a good guy discount out there somewhere. So when you go in and talk to art people, get to know who's in your town and run an art and say, hey, look, help me out here a little bit. People help me out with art all the time. You know, I've got this thing coming up in October with 20 foster children and their families, and I'm going to be painting live with them, we hope, if the COVID thing holds true. And if not, I'll do it online and get the materials to them. And so they knew I was going to do that, and they said, hey, we have some inexpensive brushes here. We'll just give you 20 of these brushes for those kids. And I'm going like, come on. So that's the kind of stuff that is just melts me, but I love it. And that's what happens when you give your art away, when you send art out to people. And so I just love it so much. It was fun for me this weekend to give 2 pieces of art away to the friends that we were staying with. And I'm painting this little, my little vineyard scene with the peeps in it. And she said, oh my gosh, is this something you're going to sell on your auction? And I said, maybe. And she said, what are you going to do with it? And I said, well, I'll give it to you if you want it. And she said, it's going to go by our front door. And so for me, that makes me happy. That makes her happy. That makes everything work. So I was on a tangent here with this umber. Where am I going to put it? I'm going to put a little wipe of it right there on that piece of tape. See that? That's tiny, isn't it? But I'm going to go in and get some of it. And I'm just going to let the easel be outlined in that umber color right there, just like that right there. Yeah. That's all the paint I needed for that. There it is right there. Maybe a little block behind here. All right. And so mix up a little bit of gamboge. Can you see this right here? Mix up a little gamboge and a little bit of Joe's Red, or Hot Mama Red really is what that is. And then I'll come down here and just put the feet in like so. And I'm using that brush. I'm using a very small Yasutoma brush. I'm thinking I'm going to make this pen June Bug. There's where I'll use that other color right here. So let's just go and get a little June Bug. Touch that right there. That's probably plenty to paint the pen with. All right, so I might, because this pen's, nope, just going to stay with the same brush, just because I can, because I want to. I'm going to go get a little bit of this June Bug. Oh, yeah, this will be a cool looking pen color. And I'm going to turn it this way so I can come in easy. And I'm just going to do my pen in that June Bug. Oh, I like it very much. I'm going to use the tip of the pen. I'm going to leave it white, just like it's, maybe just with a little star on top of it like that. Ooh, that's cool. And then I'm going to go in here and get some of that lamp black. And I'm just going to come in here and do the teeth of this fountain pen. Fountain pens are fun to paint. They're fun to draw with too. I just love them. There's something magical about the way this pen is made. And I had a note last week. Dolores says, we see your work in our out kitchen every day. When Christmas comes, we will see more of your work. Bring it on. Does he take checks? John Robert Small says, wheat checks. Yes, he does. Jacqueline says, I gave 2 framed pieces away Saturday at our art show. Oh my gosh, and it felt amazing. Isn't that fantastic? Okay. Bob bought a painting for $34. No, it was $33. I just smelled it to him. Okay. I was whittling today. Yes, I was whittling. And so here we go. Let me show you how this is going to wrap up here. Not the show, but this painting. As soon as I find my brush again. Now, I need a little bit of a yellow gold, and I think I'm just going to drop it in right there just so it looks like I have my pen colors all correct. And put a little detail in there with this '05 pen. I did ask Joe what he sketched his early paintings with, and Pat, you will love this. Those of you, he said, all I had back then, there wasn't a very good selection of art pens. Everybody thought pencil, charcoal. You didn't see pens entering into the watercolor world. In fact, I still use more pens in watercolor than any other artist I've seen. Here's why. I just love the fact that they bleed. And he said, I've really never done much with fountain pens in watercolor. I just do those with black and white, but I love the fact that they bleed. And so that pushes the edge. And some of you have gotten into that and you control that a little bit. He used a micron pen. He used microns like this. Many of you do this today. They're archival. And so what that means is they're permanent. So when you draw this on, it's not going to bleed. I mean, you give it about 2 seconds to dry and you can paint right over it and you're going to see the line there. And so that's a fun way to do little paintings sometimes. I just also like in the mountains especially, I like if I do it with my thin Kakuno fountain pen, that line fades and bleeds into the mountains and softens the edge of those mountains. Now, sometimes hardscapes are needed where you do a little cloud up there and you want to circle it out and you really want to make it look illustrative. That's a great way to do that. It's, you know what? Is there a right? No. Is there a wrong? No. Is there good? Yes. Is there better? Yes. Is there ugly? Of course. But you know what? You worry about it too much. Don't worry about it. Just do a quick little sketch. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to write under this tape, and I'm going to talk about this is the start of my sketchbook given to me by Joe Miller on August 7th and August 6th. That was Friday, and about 2 in the afternoon. And I'm going to say, he said, make art. And I said, brother, that's what we do. And the people. And he said, I know who Roodoodles is, man. We follow you guys. And so Megan and all you guys, gracious blessings to you. All right, so now I'm going to peel this tape off. And now you can see it didn't pull up any paper at all. No paper was harmed in the making of this art. And then you get this great little picture right here. There it is right there. And that's going to be my first, that's the first sketch in this journal book that I'm going to take with me to Maine this year. There it is right there. And I'm going to say, Joe Miller gave me this book on such and such and said, go there and make art. And so then there it is. Okay. So I'm going to do roodoodles.com and I'm going to put thanks, Joe. Okay. All right. And I'll write another little caption on here and I'll date this. So I'm going to let that dry because remember, this is less than 100-pound paper. So it's not the 140 you're used to. So if you're using a Yasutoma brush where you've got a mop head on there and you're bringing over a lot of water, you're going to have to be a little more careful. What's missing on this painting for me that I should have done before I removed my tape is just a little bit of splatter right in here just to give it just a little bit of that, and I think I can splatter. And then I'll probably just a touch of beauty spot red right there. Okay. And even if I get some splatter up in here, it's not going to bother me at all. That's a nice painting, actually, even if I did do it myself. You know, I'm a rooster painter, people. I paint storytelling characters. That's it. All right. So there's a fun little thing. Let's see. I had something else I was going to talk to you about this morning, what it is. Carving, whittling, but brush giveaway. Oh, I got another giveaway. I'm going to do that right now. And Jason, this is just for you, man. I bought a new phone. I think you'd love this phone right here. See this? This is an old 601. You notice it has a button here. I've wired it with a button. I haven't finished this phone yet. I've got to put the right lead on it. And I'm going to put a lead into it that plugs into my cell phone. I just think that would be fantastic for it to plug into here. And then, so I keep this in my pocket. And then, you know what it's like when you're out walking around. I was walking through this antique store and I heard someone say, well, I just don't care what you do. And I'm thinking, well, I don't care what you do either. And the person wasn't talking to me. They had in these little earbuds, and they weren't the white ones that you can see. They were these little dark ones. They were back in their ears, and they're going like, and so I'll tell you another thing. And I'm going like, don't tell me anything, because I don't even know who you are. And then I realized the person is talking to someone else and just talking out loud. It's like when someone has on headphones and you're going like, okay, I can hear you fine. You go like, yeah, we can hear you fine too. That's what earbuds do. So the people talk louder because they can't hear themselves, but they can hear the other person. So I am going to start using this as my hands-free device. This is an old 601 phone, so I'm going to plug it into here. And when I take a call, I just press this button, and then, well, if I do this, I'm going to show you here. Can I get a headshot here? Can I just get a headshot right here? If I do this, look at this. Everybody knows I'm hands-free, and that I'm on the phone, and they go, because that way they don't think I'm crazy. So they go, oh, that guy's talking on the phone. Hey, sure. No, I'm hands-free. Right. Of course, it's a little awkward because this is all how we walked around in the 70s and 80s. We all walked around like this. This was hands-free in the 80s. Hold on, I'm making cereal for the kids. And so I'm trying to paint. And so it's a little more awkward, but man, does that have a nice feel to it? It just feels like you're on the phone. So that's going to be my phone right there. I'm sure somebody's already made them out there online. They're probably making $1 million selling them or two. Anyway, it is what it is, people. You come up with an idea and you just run with it. I'm not going to sell them. I'm not going to wire everybody. I just want one for me. And so I'm just going to wire my own up and just have some fun with it. But that's my new hands-free device right there. Hold on. I'm hands-free. Sure. So you have to twist your mouth a little bit like this. So it works real well. All right. I like being crazy. Okay. I love being able to hold it on my shoulder. See, Jacqueline's into it. Well, I love the phone. Yeah, okay. Woohoo. All right. Then you purchase one of those shoulder. Yeah, I could get a shoulder holster. Yeah, I could get a shoulder holster, from my gun closet and just go, hey, the phone can hang up like this. So I can say, hold on, let me take that call. Push that little button and then I'm on. Yeah, go ahead. All right. So, hey, August 13th, that's 2 weeks from now, right? Or is that this coming Friday? Holy smokes, that's this coming Friday. I got to get busy. That's this coming Friday, August 13th. That is Friday night at 8:57 p.m. So set your alarm. Those of you who need to go to bed or to get up, we're going to have a Roodoodles auction right here. I've got, I'll send you a photo. I've got a box full of stuff. I've got fishing flies. I've got shrimp doodles. I've got Roodoodles. I've got, what else have I got in there? I've got some original art. Well, it's all original, but I have original drawings from Hey Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow book that I'm going to throw in the mix. So if you've got Hey Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow and you want to have a couple of the original pieces of art that were actually used in that book, they're going to go too. So I've got some of those. And then we're collecting art, and I'll some of you know who you are, and I'm getting some art from some friends. Skeeter's sending me some art in. We're going to do an auction on August 27th for David's Table. If you want to look it up, David's Table is a ministry that works with folks, some special needs, disability folks who need, some of them ride around in some pretty classy rides. I call it wheelchairs or chariots and they're going to be going to a camp, and that camp has 0 boundary lines. That means you want to go swimming, you can just roll right into the pool in a wheelchair. There's no lifting down steps. There's no big rampway. You just go. The camp was made that way. You go to the dining room that way. You go to their special club room that day. They call it a club, but it's where they meet and have music and messages and fun and skits and theatrical stuff. And so they all just can roll wherever they want to roll. It's pretty fascinating. And even on the grounds, they can get them around. They can load them up in trucks. They can take them up to the top of the mountain. They can put them on zip lines, and your chair's waiting for you when you get back. It's just fantastic. It's a ministry to these folks, and so we're going to raise some scholarship money, and we're going to invite David's Table's family and board in. We're going to invite anybody that you want to invite in for a fundraiser, and so all the money from the 27th auction goes to David's Table, all the money. And so, in fact, there'll be more rules and regulations and all sorts of things we're going to do on that, and I'll remind you again. So we go from that. All right. So, and thanks, Your dad was born on August 13th. Okay. That's awesome. Celebrates his birthday in heaven. Well, join him and we'll you can purchase a piece of art in his honor. How's that for a segue into what I'm doing? All right, so I'm still whittling the piece. It's going to be in the auction. Hopefully by then I'll have some time to curve this tail around on here and make this, put it in a big old, maybe a champagne cork. This is a pretty big rooster. He needs to sit on a champagne cork. And I'll touch a little bit of color in him. And not much, but I've got to get him all finished up and whittled up. And I'm seriously whittling him with a Swiss Army knife. I started that early this morning. And John Robert Small says you can start bidding now. That's awesome. All right. Judy Jock says, funny, hubby worked for the phone company. We have one of those, didn't think about remaking it. Well, there you go. Why not just use your hands-free device? Judy, have your husband wired into the new lead on the iPhone. And you don't need all the bells and whistles. Just here and you know, you're going to have to wire it into what's called a lightning tip ring sleeve. Believe it or not, it's called a tip ring. It's got 3 little bends on it, but then it'll have to go into a dongle. You know what a dongle is? That's the little thing that plugs small cables into phone cables. See, I know all this stuff. Okay, one more giveaway this morning that I was going to give away at Cheap Joe's, and my phone died. Here it is. Jason says the lemonade stand is open, and he ships internationally. All right, here we go, folks. Take a look at this. Going to close down in 1 second. Thanks for liking the show. It's American Journey. It's in this little bag. Guess what it is? All right, I'm going to make it even a little more special for this giveaway. Ba-da-boom. There it is. It's a little tin. It's called the Nomad. Joe just started carrying these a few years ago. And remember, man, I've been carrying this thing for over 10 years, you know. And but it's going to come in the little bag. And look what's in here. If I could get it open, I'd show you what's in here. See, I can't get this one open because, you know what I just did? I just put my hand down on it a minute ago and mashed it down. Is that the Southern word to say mashed it down? Did I mash it? There we go. I was trying to open it up the wrong side. Okay, here we go. So look, boom. It always has a little pallet already in it. 6 little plastic cutaways that are already in there. Woo-hoo-hoo. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop in there some gamboge, some little drop of each, some Red Hot Mama, some American Journey, a little bit of sap green. There's 4 colors. Get ready. That's 4. I got 2 more. I'm going to do a little shot of raw umber, and I'm going to do Junebug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's my 6 I'm going to put in there for somebody to have. I'm just going to do a little spot in each one. I'm going to do it with these 6, American Journey, and then I am going to give it away right now. So here we go. A name from the show. Boom, 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 boom. Somebody this morning. I'm scrolling back and forth. I'm not looking. I'm just a few minutes away from taking it to the house. How about a little music? A little music to draw a name with. Here we go. I'm going all the way to the top. Let me get to the top. I'm at the top where I say, good morning to you. Michelle was the first person. Karen was after that. Then Bob from the cornfields. Then I'm scrolling down. Then I'm going back up. Then I'm scrolling down 1, 2, 3, then back up, then down and up. And I'm just going to go all the way to the bottom, then back up and down. And then I'm going to give it a big shove and then let it just kind of scroll them like a slot machine. All the comments, they all come in on a little sidebar. Chicka-boom. I'm done. I turn in and I'm going to get, ready for this, Andy McKean Faglioli. ANDEEMCKEANFAGGIOLI. Andy, if you're still on the show, send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com. Andy, send me FAGGIOLI, Faglioli. If you're still on the show, send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com. I'm going to put this in a little envelope and ship it to you with these colors. You're going to get New Gamboge, American Journey, you're going to get Red Hot Mama, you're You're going to get ultramarine blue, sap green. You're going to get the two that I showed this morning that Megan gave to me, two little spots of raw umber, violet, and June bug. Those are coming to you. You can make your black by mixing these two together. Be plenty dark enough. You won't need black in this one. You got the yellow that I love, the red, the blue, the three primaries, bingo, and then these three to just have some fun with. All right, that's going to happen. And yes, Terry Tardy Turquoise is in there. I'm sending you an email right now. She says she's still on the show. Fantastic. All right, it's 10:01 and I'm out of here. Lord willing, I will see you tomorrow morning. Make yourself a cup of tea. If you don't have a cup right now, a cup of coffee, just pretend. Take that and take a sip. And think, who am I going to send a text to today and just encourage them? August 13th is the Friday, is my Friday Roodoodles auction, August 27th. Write it down. Yes, it's 8:57 in the evening also because we're on the East Coast. Got to give my West Coast friends a chance. Write it all down. Here we go. And I am out of here like a herd of turtles. My little cutoff is broken.